This tutorial demonstrates how to create an online store with a Codejig App Builder. The detailed step-by-step walkthrough process consists of three parts, and this is the first of them. App Builder enables you to create a wide variety of business applications such as CRM, ERP, project management apps. For educational purposes, we are going to show how to use the Builder to make a simple web store. Surely, you have already tried online shopping and are familiar with the basic shop functionalities. Let's take a quick look at the finished store to understand what we are going to build. This is the start page of the online store BP Shop. Clicking on the View All button redirects us to Phones. Here you can see a catalog of phones put up for sale. We have already added a phone. You can order the phone by clicking on the Buy button. To place an order, one must fill in the required fields marked with an asterisk, and then click the Order button. When successful, we will see a message saying, "Thank you, your order is accepted." An order confirmation message is sent to the specified email address. To process orders and to manage a store, you must log in with administrator rights. For users with admin rights, an additional menu item for admin is displayed in the side menu. The administrator can view the list of orders, make changes in the order, change the order status, add a new item to the list, view and create product groups. Now we have an idea of what we are going to build, so let's begin. We have to go to the home page of the Codejig user portal at apps.codejig.com. To create a new program, we click on the Create New App link. We enter the name of the program, select the blank app template from the Choose Initial template, and click on the Create App button. We have created a new App Builder instance and an application instance. Builder and application instances are run in separate containers. Links to them are displayed on the home page. Click on the Develop link to go to App Builder. We go to the Builder home page. Let's create our first web page and call it Product. Here, we are going to store information about the products to be sold in our shop. To do so, click on the Create a Web Page link on the right section of the Builder homepage and input the name of the web page. Types are data templates. If you are not familiar with other strongly typed programming languages, you may find data types to be similar to tables in database or Excel spreadsheets with columns. Types are divided into 7 kinds or type families: primitive, embedded, journal, directory, report, document, and transient. Each kind has its purpose. For example, the document and journal data types are meant to provide support for accounting-related tasks and enable the posting and storing of bookkeeping records. These 2 type kinds are available for users with the professional subscription plan. Detailed information on using the type kinds is available in the documentation. By default, if you are not sure which kind to use the directory kind. Directory is a general-purpose kind for storing data and in many aspects corresponds to the concept of a class in object-oriented programming. Let's click Create. At this moment in the Builder, there's a created data type of directory kind named Product. A type can be represented in several ways: as a character string, a table, a web page, an Excel table, or an XML file. We'll talk about the purpose and the possibilities of each view later. We are directed to the web page editor, where you can edit the page, add new fields, place it to the page, define its styles and field properties. We need to add the fields that will contain relevant product information, such as name, image, price, etc. First, we divide the main group box into the 3 parts. To add necessary fields, select the needed type of the field from the left side section and drag it and drop it onto the canvas. For the name field, use translatable text, which means that the user will be able to input the name in many languages. Give a name to the selected field and click the Create button. This automatically creates a string field in the product data type. Let's add all the necessary fields this way, i.e. image and price, and place them on the web page. For the description field, use translatable reach text of HTML string type. By clicking on the Preview button, we can see how our page will look after publishing the app. When finished with editing, don't forget to save your web page. To make our program available for users, we need to publish the app by clicking on the Publish button. Publishing includes two stages: building the app and deploying it. During the building process, all the elements prepared in Builder are compiled and packed in the executed file, which will later be used during deployment. Deploying has several stages, which include stopping the program and the Docker container if it is running at the time, starting the container with the newly executed file, and periodical checking of the availability of the program online. As we can see, the page has displayed correctly, and we can enter the information in the fields which we have created. Our system is multilingual, so we can enter the information in the fields in English and Finnish. Users can switch into Finnish by clicking on the language switcher in the top right corner. We save the entry. By going back, we can browse the whole list of created fields. Also, we can see that our product type was added automatically to the left side app menu. Now, we go back to the Builder's home page and add a product group data type where we define which group our items belong to. Select Create a new web page and do the same procedure as in the previous case. Now we go to the menu where we see our menu option. We see the menu editor page. Here, same as in the web page editor, we can adjust the looks of our menu. We also have a section where we can set specific menu properties, such as name, etc. Let's add to the menu a folder to which we shall add items available only for administrators. To make For Administrator option available only to administrators, in the menu editor, we give permission only to the administrator to perform any operations that are related to this menu item. When we open the app after publishing it, we see that the For Admin folder is not displayed in the menu. To see it, we need to log into the system with administrator rights. Our online store will sell 3 product groups: phones, TVs, and laptops. First, we create the phones product group. Now we go back to the Builder and create a new web page called Catalog, which we shall use for displaying items. At the same time, we want to build 6 different products on the page. each of which will be displayed in the separate group box. To do that, we split the page into 3 parts. This way, we create 3 group boxes. We add rows and drag the image field of binary type to display product images. Also, add fields to display product names and prices. There's no need to display the names of the fields, so uncheck the Use Field Name as Label field. Add the buy buttons and specify respective properties for them as well. By pressing Ctrl+C on the keyboard, I can copy the element button and paste it by clicking Ctrl+V. I need to set the necessary width for the buy button. You can do it by writing code in the CSS field or by adding a shared style. Shared styles allow you to set the style one time and use it later for similar elements if needed. For the following buttons, I shall use the created style. I make the necessary changes and save the page. Now we go again to the menu editor page. Delete the catalog button that was automatically added to the menu by the builder and run the Create New Catalog button to the menu. Once this is done, save and publish the app. When the app has finished publishing, a pop-up message will appear indicating that the web shop has been published and asking if you wish to open it. Click on the Yes button. Note that it is still possible to make changes to the app, even when it has been published. Now we add the order data type, which will add the user to make an order. We create a new web page and add the fields in the editor. We add the order details group box, drag the fields, set the required property, which means that the fields are required to be filled. If the field is not filled, the system will not allow you to make an order or to save changes. We save the web page. We create one more web page for this directory for the administrator. We repeat the same actions. Now we create the fill function, which allows us to create a new instance of the type order by copying information on the price of the item from the product. Fill functions allow us to initialize the new type instance based on the saved instance of another type and can be considered an analog of the constructor method in object-oriented programming. We click on the plus icon, enter the name, select where from and where to we shall copy the data. In our case, the source is the product and the new object which the function will initialize is of the order type. We click the Create button. We go to the editor to write the code using CJ blocks, simple visual language for programming of business logic. The empty function will be displayed that takes source and target as parameters. Target is a newly created empty object of the order type. By right-clicking on Target, we open a drop-down menu and open the Variables tab of Objects windows. The tab lists currently defined variables. Let's store information about the ordered product in the Product field. We select the field and press the Set button. The field appears on the workspace canvas and has to be put into the correct place in the function body. Blocks placed outside of the function body are ignored. In a similar way, we choose the source variable, which contains a product passed as a parameter, and then gets its value by pressing the Get button. This value is assigned to the product field of target by joining corresponding blocks. Get and set blocks should belong to the same type, otherwise they can't be connected. So, you can assign product to product or string to string, but do not assign string to product. Assignment rules follow conventions of Java language. Primitive type kinds are treated as value types, and complex type kinds are treated as reference types. It is possible to select more than one variable or field by holding the Control button and perform get or set operation on them. This way we select price, description, image, and product name fields and set their values. Also, we right-click on source, perform the same action, and get their values. Let's save the code and take a look at it from another perspective. Fill function is run on the server, and eventually the server code written in CJ blocks is translated to code in Java language. We can see the translated code by pressing the Java Code button. The resulting Java code is shown only for explanation and for making any potential troubleshooting easier. It is not editable. The developer does not edit the generated code. However, it is possible to mix Java code and CJ blocks and use third-party Java libraries. We'll get to it later. Let's go to the catalog type, where we add a new function called createOrder, which will be executed on the client, the browser. This function will be called after the user clicks the Buy button in the catalog. It should accept a single input parameter containing a product ID that was selected by the user. We add the parameter by clicking on the blue Options icon shown on the Functions block. We drag the new parameter to the Inputs section and name it Item ID. Notice that parameter and variable names can contain spaces and characters from non-Latin alphabets. It is necessary to define the data type of the parameter. We do it by opening the Objects window, selecting Data Types tab, and choosing an appropriate data type, in this case string, non-multilingual. Now let's create a new variable ID of the system string type and assign the value of the ID parameter to it. The next block of code will call the previously defined fill function that creates a new order based on product. For this purpose, we are using open and create type blocks. We will need the create form and fill function options of the create type block. So, click the gear icon on the block and check these options. Now, we need to get the order data type and connect it to the create type block slot. We get the ID value and connect to the create from slot. For the fill function slot, first we connect a string block to it. Then go back to the order type details page and copy the new order fill function ID. Before exiting the block editor, make sure to save your code. Go back to the block editor and paste the copied ID in the string block. Then save your code. We have to add 6 ID fields to hold identifiers of the products shown by the catalog data type. The procedure is very similar to what we have already done. We define a new field of the string, non-multilingual, type and save it. Added ID fields should be placed on the web page too. New fields are added to the auto-generated views automatically. If the view has been defined manually, it is the developer who decides whether the field should appear in the view. Fields are placed onto the page and set to be hidden from displaying. We save the page view and return to the catalog types details page. We create the load action. The code placed in this action will be executed on the server every time the page is requested by the browser. We need to display all the products that are sold in the catalog, and we do so by copying product attributes. We create a system string variable to store an ID value. This raises the question, Why convert system identifier field to string? Wouldn't it be more natural to pass it as a system integer? Unfortunately, passing identifiers as integers to the client might lead to error. System integer uses Java 64-bit integers on the server, but JavaScript implementation of number allows only for 54-bit. So, using the identifier as a number in the browser would strip it of some bits and make it unusable. Therefore, identifiers have to be converted to system string when they are expected to be used in client code. The same kind of conversion happens automatically in a transparent way during the execution of automatically generated code. By using the stream block from the queries section, we take the first entry in product directory and copy the image, name, and price to the current catalog object. The current object is referred to by using the item keyword. We save the code. We need to define a new client-side custom action that is going to be executed when the user clicks on the Buy button. To do this, we go back to the Catalog webpage view and select the Buy button in the first group box. In the Item Properties pane, we set the option After Server Event to Buy Product 1. Notice that in this case, it does not matter whether the function is assigned as before server event or after server event. If the server event is not set, the round trip to the server won't happen and the client-side function will just get executed once when the button is clicked. Let's name the action Buy Product 1 and click Create. This opens the CJ Blocks editor. We want to call the function Create Order. We could choose it from the Functions tab of the Objects window, but it is also possible to locate function, variable, or block simply by typing its name. I select the function and pass the value of the field ID 1 as an input parameter. Once we are done, we save the code and publish the app. When the app is launched, we notice that information about the product name, price, image, and description of the item can be edited by the users. To prevent this from happening, we need to disable those fields. To do this, we need to first go to the Order Type web page view and disable all the fields whose views should not be changed. Then save the page. Do the same in the Catalog web page view and publish the app. Now we can see that the information can't be edited. In some cases, we may need to show or hide certain elements on the page, such as button, a field, or an image. In order to do that, we need to write two client-side functions. We go to the catalog directory. First, we create the hide element function. We press the create button. We shall put ID string into the function. ID is the identifier of the element that we want to show on the page. It can be specified in the webpage editor in the identifier field. We move the native code block to the page and write the code which will hide the element with the specified ID. We save the code. We go back to the catalog and create the second function, showElement, which will show the element. The algorithm is the same. Now we go to the catalog web page view and assign an ID to each of the boxes, box 1 to 6. Then we save the page. We create the loaded action. Client code will run after load when all the data will be loaded. In order to define whether the element will be shown on the page, we write the following condition. If the price field is filled, does not equal 0, we show the element if it is not filled, equals 0. We do not show the element on the page. By pressing the Objects button and going to the Functions, we select the Show Element function and move the block into the condition if price does not equal 0. We select the Hide Element function and move the block in else the condition. Now we need to pass the ID parameter into the function. Let's write ID parameters that we assigned to the group boxes with the image, the price, and the buy button. We copy already written code, and in every next row, we change the ID name which we have previously assigned to every group box and price variable. We save the code. Now let's build and deploy the app and check how the written code is working. We open the application and we see that the only element is displayed on the page since we have entered one item with the indicated price. The code is working correctly. This tutorial will be continued in the next part of the video.